Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dire Bear Adventuring Company's Wednesday presentation of Binary Heroes, Brobots. Robots in disguise. As you can tell, we are down one player. Unfortunately, Maddie was not feeling well and so will not be joining us. So that is unfortunate, but life happens. And we hope that she gets to feeling well very, very soon. So with that in mind, we had a fantastic Monday presentation, Foundations of Adelar. We had a big old raid in there, and ended up with like 28 people at one point in time. It was amazing. So thank you again to John Ford and the crew that came over with that raid. We appreciate you guys jumping in. It was fantastic. We had a lot of fun. Some of the newer characters met Rose, who is Yenfear's mom, and yeah, it was a good time. So if you want to get in on all the antics, you should join us on Mondays at 6 p.m. Central until 9 o'clock, roughly. We are playing D&D 5th edition, and it is a lot of fun. However, tonight we are playing as robots, and we have with us Jason, V, and Atlas, who are all going to be playing robots with us. So that is always a load of fun. I like being a robot. I welcome our overlords.
I, for one, welcome our robot overlords.
That's right. I know which side my bread be buttered on. The buttered side. Sorry, I'm trying to get some stuff like posted up real quick because I'm like throwing things in there. So if I sound like I'm kind of out of it, it's because I am. So you guys left off last week. We were investigating the 7th floor, where you found a guy, a weird guy.
No, that was just you, Cap.
All right, so it was kind of me, but kind of not. You found what was the creator, or at least you think you have, a human who was being held to foster the creativity that a lot of the robots don't have. And there's apparently a philosophical filibuster, if you will, between a couple of you, mostly Romeo. That was, hey, what's going on with you guys? You're all so weird. But it ended up being an interesting thing. Hey, thank you so much for the host there, Seether. So, without much further ado, you guys, he told you that those who run the show they were told never go to the 8th floor, and of course, as good players always do, whenever I dangle a carrot in there telling them not to do something, the very first thing they do is that thing. And so as they climb the staircase once more, heading to the 8th floor, the door to the 8th floor, much like the 7th, has only one entry point. Unlike the rest of the floors, they go, you can go either direction because of the fact there are multiple points of egress into those floors. This one is oddly quiet. Now, the door itself is one of the old school bumper bars. You just kind of pop the little handle and it opens up. This one swings in as you open it up. Sorry, I'm futzing with stuff because I can't get it to do what I want it to. All right, there we go. Now that I'm done with that, As you open the door, it's stark. Much like the floor.
God, Iron Man.
Not Tony. It's stark.
Robots.
Like the floor below, where you had the rooms encased in, the glass rooms where each of them were working on a robot. This one is almost devoid of everything. The floor, the ceiling, and the walls have been painted in a very austere white. As you enter the room, there is merely a panel in front of you. On it is a simple tablet. Characters, looks like a regular, good old-fashioned keyboard. Did you drag the human up here with you, or did you leave him where he was?
I think when we ended last time, he was going to show us the way up here, so I'm assuming we drug him in.
Yeah, so he's with you. Looking a bit nervous, wearing a shirt that he's got like a t-shirt underneath, this Hawaiian shirt and a pair of canvas cargo pants, on. Wearing a pair of flip-flops.
Ah, I see this man has taste.
It's Casual Friday.
Every day is Casual Friday.
Robots have no concept of time. And therefore, each day is Casual Friday.
Right on. Can you sing Everything Is Awesome in that voice too? No, please don't. Please don't.
Nope, not happening. Sorry.
All right. Simple white room. It's not as big as the one below, or any of the others below it, from what you can just kind of glance at and see.
Did all the floors look the same size from outside?
Yes.
So it's like they tried to build a tesseract and got it backwards.
Did they get it backwards, or did they intend for it to be this way? It's smaller on the inside. Wait, no.
Yeah, approach the tablet. Does it? You said it has a virtual keyboard on it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
There's a blink line and a cursor flashing. It's like it's awaiting input of some sort.
How very DOS.
Very basic. Q basic.
It's like a robot baby photo. That's what we're looking at. It's not a computer, it's a photo album.
Sure.
I asked the creator what this is.
He looks at it for a moment and looks at you and goes, "Looks like a keypad, man."
What's it connected to?
Oh. I never go to the 8th floor, man. I just kind of hung out where I was at. Played my game. By the way, I'm a little upset. I almost had the highest score, man.
He's like playing the Chrome Dinosaur game.
No, if you remember, it was actually a racing game, like on basically the equivalent of a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, like
He's like, "I don't know what's up here, man. I never came up here."
Romeo's just gonna start hitting buttons.
I was about to say, should we just start hitting the keyboard?
You start hitting random various keys. Are you trying to spell anything? Or are you just like basically going across the keyboard?
I think maybe he would look up something like Android or something. Human, maybe.
So you type in the word human.
Yeah.
And you hit enter. It keeps it for a second and then goes away and the cursor comes back.
Experiments.
You hit enter, the cursor flashes at the end of the word experiment. It goes away and the cursor's blank again.
Wait. Okay. He types in Gail Hardwick.
Types it in, hits enter. The cursor flashes for a few seconds. The line comes up blank.
Okay. He
Are there
steps
any-
away.
Are there any ports on this thing?
It doesn't appear to be. It seems to be just like a small stand that's about 4 feet in height, and then the keypad with the one line on the top of it.
So it doesn't really even have a display per se.
I mean, it's the display is just this little bitty spot there.
What if we type a model number? I mean, I don't suggest mine, but maybe somebody's.
Zachary's going to step up there and try to. He should know coding. He's going to try to request what commands are available, or
So you're basically going to do the equivalent of a DOS line help.
essentially.
Okay. You hit enter. It flashes for a moment, and then you see like commands scroll up because it's like one line, but you see like a bunch of information that looks like it scrolls up. But you watch at the end of the line as a little bitty up and down arrow for your scroll bar is there.
All right, we examine what commands we can have access to.
Looking over it, it's actually not a list of commands so much as it's kind of a basic instructions. And what it basically boils down to is you need to enter the correct access word or phrase.
I asked the creator if he's got any idea what the phrase might be.
Man, I thought you robots were smarter than us. I don't come up here, bruh.
Watch your tone.
Sorry.
You are the one that drug us into this place. Not this floor, but the building itself.
That's true. All right, so yeah, sorry about that. Cool. Let's try this then. And he said, do you mind if I
step to the side?
And he goes, CREATOR. Enter. Cursor flashes for a second. And then it goes blank. And it has the word, it has the phrase, request appropriate output. And then it goes blank after you read that. And he goes, we're getting somewhere.
Appropriate output.
Is this computer like in front of a door or something, or is it just like in the room?
You're like, the room is stark, white, austere. And in this, not the middle, but right in front of the door, like even the column where the stairwell is painted white. But you can see this thing sitting in the middle of this room. As you come back over and look at it, you can see that the keys have changed. It's no longer just a regular. You can see now that it has audio only, visual, audio visual, or HUD.
Let's go with audio visual.
Okay. You hit the button, and as you do so, the white becomes a backdrop, and the area is filled with stuff, with sound. And it seems like a milieu of advertisements for different models. Like one after the other, after the other, after the other, talking about the benefits of one of the other, but it's like a cacophony of voices that are all speaking at one time. So you're hearing, like, try the new Ghost model. It's 4 arms for tactical combat purposes, so forth and so on.
Is it older models that we're seeing?
It's no rhyme or reason. It seems to be all models.
As this is happening, Romeo is going around and just taking the butt of his gun and like banging on the wall, listening for something hollow.
Okay. Nothing seems to jump out at you. So it seems to be just kind of there. Sorry, I have to cut your volume down. Your mic is much better today than it normally is.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
No, you're good. I had you at 200% because
Okay.
so it's on me this time. No worries. All right. So once it finishes, the input screen returns with the keyboard. And I mean, it doesn't take long because each one of them is very short. But like I said, it's just pretty much almost every model that you cross, and some you've never even seen before. And it runs through this, and then it goes back, and it has just the keyboard and the input line again. You're moving around the room and just kind of tapping on things.
Yeah, just giving a good solid clunk, clunk.
If you're facing north, when you came in, let's say.
Okay.
As you move, you realize that it's narrower than it really is. That it has the appearance of being large, but it's actually not quite as big as it seems. And as you move over and you kind of hit one of the eastern wall, it does reverberate slightly, doom, doom, and it gives off a metal echo.
Guys, this is a facade. There's something out there. There's something. It's just listen, and he does it a couple more times, and he looks over it.
And you can hear the butt of the gun reverberating, or the reverberation from the strike with the butt of the gun.
Mm-hmm. Ghost, do you think you could put a hole in that wall?
He could sure try.
I mean, that is now my specialty. No, I'm kidding. I'll, yeah, let's go punch a hole in a wall.
Yeehaw.
That sounds like my type of party.
What's your brawn again? You're 5? Yeah, and you're still firmware 4, is that right? Okay. As you haul back with 2 of your arms and lean forward, when you hit and connect, it's solid. You chip some of the paint away and scuff it, and you can see that it's a solid, not like a solid sheet of metal, but right where you hit it's pretty solid. You may be able to find a joint piece or something like that if you do enough searching. The creator's still back there by the keypad, like looking around at you guys.
In that case, Romeo, while Zachary works on the computer, Romeo is just going to keep going around trying to find, somewhere that might be vulnerable.
The southern wall reverberates, and as you come to the edge where the southern and the eastern wall meets, instead of being, a 90-degree, it's like a beveled edge. It's smooth around, like a corner is smoothed off.
I see.
That would stop it from being noticeable if they were putting images up on it.
So there's no cracks or anything.
Not without trying to maybe strip something away, like trying to strip the paint away. But it took a pretty good hit, and it only scuffed and maybe put a small nick in the paint from Ghost. So whatever this is, it's pretty heavy duty.
Okay, well, we're not getting out of here anytime soon, but be on alert because there's clearly something behind this, and I don't doubt that they're watching us.
The southern wall rings with an echo, as does the western wall. The only one that doesn't ring with an echo is the northern wall.
So this is like one room with the rest of the floor.
Yeah. Or something like that.
But this seems to be the only entrance up to this floor.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever is in there isn't meant to be accessed.
Well, like I said, man, don't go to the 8th floor, dude. Let's go back down. You want to get out of here?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
What command did he put in that brought up all the commercials?
He typed in his name, or his pseudonym.
Mm.
You know, that's a good question. What is your name? Like your actual human name? Humans have names, right? Like they pass them down or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what's yours?
I thought he told you guys last week. Did he not?
Did he? Maybe. I might have forgotten. I feel like we were just calling him the creator.
Yeah, I don't remember if you did last time or not. I've got a name Trevor Allen written down, but I don't know. But I'm not sure if that's one of the pages for this game or not. Well, I've been making my
For
Expergenesis
D&D
notes on
experience.
here, and I've got some
Clearly
icon notes in
separate
here.
out all your notes.
Every page is separated. They're just not labeled.
And there's your downfall. There's your great downfall. Just, God, it's not important, is it? I mean, come on.
I mean,
Somebody being
did
evasive,
I
that makes
offend
it
you?
What?
Is it offensive to ask humans their ritual names? Is that like, should I be doing that? I really don't know. I haven't hung around a human in a long time.
Sure. Yeah, it's totally taboo. Don't do that.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry, man.
He probably simply has an embarrassing name like Sue
Sue is
Dude,
embarrassing.
it's not
or
Sue.
Eugene.
I failed to
not
see how any
Sue.
of those names are particularly embarrassing. I mean, like, are they bad? Are they like swear words, like according to humans? 'Cause
I have no idea.
got a
I merely know
number-
there was a song about Sue, and it was an embarrassing name for some reason.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, we could just call him that if he doesn't want to tell us his name.
What?
No, that's
not
rude.
my. Thank you.
I mean,
Man.
I don't trust you for shit, but he is human. We gotta respect his customs.
Right? See, robots are supposed to listen to humans, man. You're supposed to go back with me.
Okay.
to
Now
the
you're
7th
being
floor.
offensive. Robots are not human slaves.
No,
Nor-
that's not. I didn't. I apologize if I inferred or made a reflection that maybe you were slaves. It's not what I meant to say, man. Just saying that when it comes to it, what was the first law that was engineered for robots?
Oh
Yeah, we
my
wouldn't kill you.
god. Really? Are we doing that?
So we
You want to
wouldn't
get
do you
into the
harm.
laws of robotics? Yeah, it's do no harm. Just
Right
like
on.
doctors.
Right
We're-
on, man. The hypocritical oath. I know that's not what it is. I know that's not what it is.
I know. Like that's Romeo saying to him, like,
While this conversation is going on, Zachary's typing in his name as a
Okay.
name, not as a serial number, but as a name.
Okay, as
Zachary.
ZACH. Okay, not Z4CH. Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
I'll try that next if this doesn't work.
You type that in, the cursor flashes, and then it goes away.
All right, my serial number.
Okay, typing in your serial number. You hit enter, the cursor flashes, it continues to flash for a second, and then it says choose output source.
HUD.
There is a simple pulse that only you can feel, or that you're pretty sure you're the only one that can feel it. And like having information or a data relay sent to you in your eyes, in your optic sensors, all of a sudden you see your actions and movements kind of sped up over the last few days that you guys have been active. When it gets to Dr. Crown and to Cerberus 6, 9, and 15, their faces are like their files corrupted, so their faces look pixelated, their voices sound strange, but it's pretty much minute by minute account of everything that you've done over the last few days.
Well, that's disturbing.
I mean, from the minute you came back online to seeing Tully talking about fixing his voice box, everything.
Hmm. So even the lower city isn't safe. Oh wait, he didn't see any of that. Never mind.
I type in. Tanlin 2's serial number.
You type it in.
Yeah.
You are presented with the same information. What output source would you like to choose?
Audio and video.
All right. It pops up. On the screen is all the activity. And what's interesting is because if that's the one in the lower city that you guys had met, right? In the safe house?
No, Tamlin 2 was one of the guys we were investigating about the.
Oh, that's right. No, that was one of the guys. The creator.
Yeah, Tamlin, Croker, Tamlin
Yes.
2, and Farson.
I apologize. Yes, thank you for reminding me because somebody has left his notes elsewhere. As you typed in that one, it is the screen itself comes up and you can see a conversation between 3 robots.
Who were the other 2?
You're not sure. They are having a discussion about running a scenario concerning a new piece of software that will write into the BIOS of any of the new units that are produced. There is a trial to see if they've actually achieved what they wanted to. Not only are the units that will be tested self-aware, but they can actually override the coding that was written into them long ago by the fear of humanity. That they will not only be able to make decisions based off of that, but they'll actually be more akin to humankind. And they celebrate the fact that they finally triumphed and they can shell out or get out of the, as one of them puts it, the amalgamation of soft flesh that's fallible and the metal that's tied to it.
That's creepy as fuck.
A little bit. Do they ever name what one of these other units, or name who these units are?
They do not.
Do I hear the name of a project? The name of the software, whatever it is.
They do not mention it.
Romeo looks over at the creator and kind of narrows his eyes.
I'll type in.
You got any idea what that is or what it means?
Bad juju, man.
I'll type in Farser's name.
Hi, how are you feeling?
What
Not
year
great.
were you? Oh.
Not great.
Not great.
Oh no.
Poor thing.
I don't know where the fuck this is coming from. I was fine yesterday and then woke up with this. It's awful, and I've been coughing all day.
Well, everybody send good vibes to Maddie.
Mm-hmm. Get them good vibes going. But
right.
Romeo asks the creator, what year were you born? And I just want to clarify, if you don't want to do the math to figure out a specific year, you can just say, like, he tells you a year. But basically what I'm trying to figure out is whether or not he was born or there's something else weird going on here.
No, he's going to give you his age. Let's see. I am... Oh, cool. Hey, I turned 54 this year.
Okay. But, like, what year?
Is he broken?
I'm not broken. I'm asking you a pretty simple question. Unless for some reason in the last, 1,000 or so years I've been around, humans decided to stop celebrating birthdays.
Well, no, but I turned 54, man. Do the math. You got this year, and you subtract technically 53, because that's how old I am now. There you go.
Romeo just sighs and just lets the subject drop because he's not entirely convinced of this guy's.
Now, we had heard rumors of the creator before we're decommissioned, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So Zachary will ask him, "You're not the first creator, are you?"
No, man. No. It's almost an honorific or a title now. I'm like Pope.
What the hell?
Zachary just stares at him blankly. Oh, yes, of course.
The Pope was the leader of the oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. I'm like president. There you go.
Like, okay. Were you elected? Like, did they have a meeting and they were like, yeah, we want this dumbass to be. I'm sorry, that was rude. We want this guy.
Not inaccurate, however.
Yeah.
Dude, that's harsh, man. Look, I'm just sitting there chilling out, minding my own. You guys busted. Well, true, I told you to come find me. But then I was like, you know what? It's all good. Go ahead and vacate. No, instead you dragged me out. And they're like, let's go check out the 8th floor where I was told not to go. No, that's right. Let's blame the human. Let's call him a dumbass.
All due respect, there's some hinky shit going on here, and the fact that you're not even the slightest bit concerned is actually kind of worrisome to me. So either you fess up, tell us what you know, or go along with these shenanigans and shut the fuck up.
Okay, so first of all, you're like made of metal, man. I'm not.
Yeah, and?
I'm terrified. I am absolutely terrified because any single one of you could crush my head in your hand like a small fruit that can be crushed easily. So I either go along and then try to convince you, hey, let's leave or go back, or I scream in terror and that doesn't get anything done. Not to mention, then you'll probably just hit me and I don't want to get hit on.
Why would we? Okay, I'm not going to engage with this nonsense anymore.
Human fear isn't rational. Don't try to rationalize it.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I'll type in basically I go down that list of weird bots that we were looking for or looking at that were involved in the experiments. Farseer and I think Corker was the one I knew.
Yep. Where you knew of him. You didn't know him personally, but like you were more familiar with him than the others. As you type in the one, it gives you the video out, choose your output source. You bring it up
where everybody can see it and hear it. So.
You see the same conversation, but from a different perspective.
Check the third one, make sure it's all three of them.
It's the same conversation from a different perspective.
And then I'll type in whatever Tamlin one's serial number was.
You type it in, and you see a human. He's having a conversation. It's very heated. And the human is advising him against going down the path that they're already on. You don't know the strain that it will put on the human part. You don't know the strain that it will put on the robot part. We know that we have compatibilities out there, but this is not the way to go. Be content with who you are, so forth and so on.
Now, a human is saying this?
Mm-hmm.
How unusually wise for a human.
You watch as Tamlin crosses his arms behind his back and flat out refuses and tells him that if he's not going to go along with it, that he can be disposed of and another creator can be put in his place.
Yeah, that
Romeo is literally seething with rage at this.
As he turns around, there is the sound of pop, 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 pop. And the human is standing there holding something in his hand. It looks a lot like the pistol you have, but the tip of it is smoking. The Tandlin unit is down on the ground, and he has several large holes in his metal frame. Well, not large holes in the front of it. Smaller holes in the front, but the back of it, big holes.
Not ideal.
The feed cuts off right as you see ghost units pop in to grab the human.
Is there a time stamp on any of this information, or?
This seems to be oddly specific.
I type in Exodus to see if it gives us any information on the humans leaving.
Nothing. Blink, blink, and then it goes blank.
Let's see. What were it was the Penelope units that mostly left with humanity?
Mm-hmm.
I'll try typing in Penelope. And, however the...
Yeah, you type in the serial for that model. No information comes up.
I'll check Cerberuses.
As you type in Cerberus, it gives you your 4 choices on your output.
Let everybody see it.
Okay. It comes up on the, again, lights up the screen, or like a big screen, and you can see that there is a conversation with Corker, the one that's referred to as Corker, and you can see he's talking to the 3 Cerberus units. And he says, "I'm going to deliberately make sure that you are masked. Your voices will be digitized. Do what you can to aid them. I feel that they may be coming to an impasse quickly. There will only be one account of this left. The rest of it will be scrubbed, even from you. But you will need to make sure that you find them. So I will give you small bits of information. Do we have an understanding?" And you watch as all 3 Cerberus units, looking very straightforward, no smirk, no swagger whatsoever, all nod at the same time.
Does the voice sound like Dr. Crown?
Yes, it does.
We never knew Dr. Crown's serial number, did we?
No, you do not.
But he sounds like, you said he sounded like or looked like Corker?
Mm-hmm. Slight modifications from what you met, but for the most part, it's easy to tell that it was a chassis change and some other stuff, but he looks like Corker.
Well, ain't that just a kick in the pants?
I attempt to contact the Cerberus units. I think we had lost contact with them heading up here last time.
You try to reach the network and it's just nothing. Link dead.
Can Romeo try looking something up?
Sure.
All right. He just wants to try and type in the name. It can be literally any model, but the name of a model that might have worked in the same lab that he worked in. It's a long shot, but he wants to give it a shot.
Nothing comes up.
Damn it.
It goes blank.
I bump Romeo out of the way and type in the
move.
Basically, it's like he had an idea and gets excited about it, just bumps him. And types in the serial number of the store manager that was almost killed at the train with us.
Oh, okay. There is it's a small report. Whenever you type it in, it only gives you one option that's visual for your output. So you tap it, it's actually like a document. And it says to the effect that there was an unexpected party in the incident. Luckily there were no casualties other than, and it lists the dude who got hit by the train.
No casualties except for this casualty.
It says that they've contacted her and scrubbed the memory, deleted all of the files in the trace, and put her back in place.
Oh, that's good. But it also means they're not keeping up with video from every robot. Just us. We're special. I look up the robot that got killed by the train.
It gives you one output option, and that's, again, visual. As you put it up, it's a report. It talks about the extensive damage and how they were trying to destroy that unit altogether or opt for repairs. However, they said that the damage to the storage on it was irreparable, so the unit was scrapped.
Good. No vengeful reoccurring villain.
No kicking in the door at the 9th hour. Just coming in and gutting down all of you. Dragging one leg behind him, one arm's missing.
Alright, but Corker was supposed to have been decommissioned.
You took everything from me!
I asked the creator, was Corker another unit that you recommissioned?
No, man.
Have you ever met a unit that calls itself Dr. Crown?
Oh, that's a pretty cool name. I would have remembered that. Nah, man, I didn't meet a Dr. Crown.
But he said he did. He was also interested in us finding you. How long have you been creator?
Let's see. I turned 54 this year, man. That's awesome. So about 20 years or so, give or take.
I can't remember if Dr. Crown ever told us how long he was running around.
You say this guy is like looking for me too?
He said you had basically done him and some friends he had like you did us. Had given them one particular mission that they had done, and then they've just sort of been surviving since then.
Oh, that may have been the previous one, man.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Do you know anything about the previous creator?
Nope.
Okay, abrupt response, but...
Zachary just sort of glances over at Adela. You think he's telling us the truth?
Do I think he's telling the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Or do
You're
I
more
think he's lying
experienced
to
with
me? No, I'm asking the DM.
Oh.
No, he seems pretty... He seems like he's in earnest. You get the fact that there's not a whole lot of guile in this one.
Okay.
He's not as sharp as all that. So
what good does he do him as a creator?
Just because he's not a good deceiver doesn't mean he's not good in other aspects, or at least favorable in other aspects.
Many artistic people don't tend to be well at deceiving.
You make it purple. You make it purple.
Right here. No, it's true.
It's true.
Right
it's
here.
true. Atlas can't lie for shit.
This is true. Actually, I'm a very good liar to my parents. But anyways, it reminds me a little bit of in like WALL-E, where you have like the lineage of captains, and eventually it's like, oh, he's just captain because he's human. It's kind of like that. Oh, I love when everything cuts out.
Oh no, I wasn't saying anything. I'm just sitting here quiet.
Oh no, you're good.
Can anybody think of anything else we could ask this thing?
The only person you've looked up so far is you.
Fair enough. I'll look up Ghost.
Output.
HUD.
Okay. You see. Okay, that's what I thought. You see, although Jack says that his name is Laurel or Laurel, you see Ghost, and just like with you, every action over the last few days, everything from you guys waking up, all of the stuff, all the way up to coming in here, everything. It's not got the point where like in Spaceballs where he's like looking and then looking and then looking and looking, but it's pretty close.
I'll go through and I'll do everybody like that. Just to make sure there's anything too weird.
Same thing. Everybody shows the same thing. It's all the way up to there.
But nothing before we were recommissioned.
Doesn't appear to be that way. Who do you look up last in your list of people?
Adela.
Della? Okay.
Just going and list of order that y'all are lined up in on my screen.
Perfect. As you get to and finish Adela's, the screen, the little display screen, goes back to the keyboard, but there's a new option there. It's just an icon. It looks like a refresh button, but it's like a gear, like it was made out of gear teeth and it was like chasing itself.
I'll hit it.
As you do, there is the sound of metal being, or like some seal breaking, and the eastern and the western walls separate, flush into the floors.
Well, Ghost loosened it.
On the left,
I'm sure that he did.
On the eastern side, you see nothing but models of Romeo and nothing but models of Adela. On the other side, nothing but Zachary units, nothing but Ghost units. All of them are standing inactive.
Are they clothed like we tend to walk around, or is it just the baseline?
They are clothed like you were when you woke up.
Stethoscopes and all, or just the clothes?
Everything.
No pants.
No pants.
Zachary had pants.
No.
I don't know.
No, I mean Ghost. No pants.
Ghost lost his pants.
Including down to the rifle that Romeo carries.
Well, ain't that just?
Do all the Romeos look as old and scuffed up as our Romeo?
Every single one of them.
Now we're turning on the creator.
I like how just like that slow turn you just did. He looks back and forth to you guys and goes, "It's you."
Real fucking funny, wise guy.
I swear to you, man, I don't know anything. Look, I'm chilling out. I'm designing robots. I'm playing the racing game. And the next thing you know, my handlers come in. They tell me to read this thing and do it in this particular way.
The speech you gave us when we first woke up.
Yeah, man. I mean, I met Tully, but
I type in Tully's
you type in Tully's number, and you hit enter. It gives you, of course, your 4 choices. You're gonna go audio, visual, or
we'll go audio visual.
Okay. This one kind of works like it's like just on the ground in front of you with the doors opened up. You can't really. It's like displayed on the ground in front of you, and you can see it's the Tully unit, and it's Tanlin 2. And he reaches down, and he says, "You know what you're supposed to do." And it kind of nods its head, and he goes, "I can't activate your voice." It nods its head again, and he says, "All right, we'll get you an escort out there." It nods its head again. And you watch as it leaves the room, and then the video cuts for a bit, and it comes back up, and you can see he's got the 4 of you, and he's arranging you on these tables in this dingy-looking safe house room.
That we were familiar with.
Mm-hmm. Looks very familiar.
I feel so betrayed.
Creator I could handle, but Tully? Really? Tully?
That hurts. That hurts.
Yeah.
That cuts deep. That cuts deep.
Zachary had been in the back of his head, had been trying to think of ways to create adapters, to put a new voice box in him, and all kinds of stuff, and now this.
When you finish watching the video for Tully, there's one more of those metallic pop and like the seals being opened. And from behind you, you hear the sound of metal ringing on metal. It's the sound of applause from a robot just clapping.
Oh, great. My slow clap processor made it into this thing. So we have that.
Despite his lack of needing to breathe, Zachary sighs and turns around to see who's clapping.
It just sounds like... It's like the doors. It's like the doors on the ship from Hitchhiker's Guide.
Because that's a happy sigh.
Yeah.
Because they're euphoric anyhow, they have to open.
Yes. You turn around to see Tanlin 2 and Farser walking out. They are an abomination. They are an amalgamation. They do not look like you saw them in the video. They look to be parts of things.
Romeo about to be off the shits, my man.
You watch as he puts his hands up and he says, "Do you know what this means? The 4 of you made it. You chose the path. You followed the clues. The 4 of you. The software worked. I can't tell you the countless numbers." Farser just kind of shrugs. "The countless numbers of prototypes that we had to go through to finally get the software working. You will no longer have to be tied to these fleshy things like we are. You have what humanity has, but robot kind did not. Don't you see? You're all perfect. A programmed consciousness with divinity. You are not just a casting of metal, a form designed to do a specific task and stick to it. You've developed personality. You've developed creativity, albeit rudimentary. But robots can be replaced, despite their being squashed by a train or shot in the alleyway. But you've proven the software succeeds. And it outlasts the firmware that we must have. Don't you understand?
Who's in
Wrong.
there?
Perfect.
Every time he says perfect, Zachary just like glances at Romeo.
I asked you a question. Who is in there?
Who is in where?
What was their name?
I believe my compatriot is upset about the human you clearly killed and, are integrating.
They are inconsequential.
No, they're not. What was their name?
Compared to what we've created. You see the creator go,
I want to know their name in the next 5 seconds, or I will watch as every last one of your parts gets melted into scrap. Don't fuck with me.
Zachary sidesteps away from Romeo.
What was their name now?
Test subject 13.
Romeo cocks his gun and shoots him.
with propellant, with
I mean, he does not give a shit. He is so angry. He doesn't care that it's just fucking fire retardant. No, he's fucking.
It hits him and it spreads out. He says, now, you'll damage the perfect pink flesh that you care so much about.
I don't give a shit about the outer shell of a human, and neither do you, apparently. What I give a shit about, which you also don't give a shit about, is the person that was inside of that human and the kind of soul that they had. And I don't care if we're creative, and I don't care if we have an imagination, because do you know what humans have that we don't have? Something that it took me years and millions of updates to get even a part of. They have morals. They have standards. And frankly, it's clear that you didn't inherit any of that from your stupid little experiments. So if you want to tell me that you've somehow improved us, you need to show me that you've given us what humans have. And that is the ability to make decisions based on the welfare of other people.
He kind of pauses and a smile breaks out over the face. And he says, but don't you see? You have done exactly that.
It was no thanks to you.
If you feel that helps you recharge at night, then so be it. But look at all the rest of these units. Look at them. Zachary's and Adela's, Ghosts, Romeo's. How many times do you think we recreated this scenario, upgrading the software, watching carefully at the decisions you make, knowing that you could have killed those robots in the alleyway? But what did you do?
I'm pretty sure we did kill one of them.
Expendable. But for the other one, you didn't, did you? You disabled him. What about the guards in the elevator? You
Nope.
had the opportunity.
No.
Then let me ask you. What decision made it where you are? Why this passion? Robots are not this passionate about these things. You feel you are passionate about humans because of your relationship with this human Dale.
First of all, it's Gale. Second of all, don't pretend you know anything about me or where my morals come from.
I know exactly where they come from. The perfect algorithm implanted in you. Deny it as you must.
The memories we have from before we were recommissioned Were they true, or were they something you simply put together?
They were mostly true.
They should have just decommissioned me.
No. They should be decommissioned.
No. They should have decommissioned me. I shouldn't even be here. I should have died the day that Gale died, and frankly, I don't want to keep on going. If I have to see this shit, if I have to listen to this asshole tell me that my morals, my imagination, all of that comes from some shit that he gave me, not something that I earned by working with him day after day to try and get those things to work. I watched him for hours stand in front of me with wrenches and screwdrivers, and he would talk to himself, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever, because robots don't talk to themselves, only humans talk to themselves. And I wasted hours doing that when I could have been doing my job, and I always thought it was pointless until one day he told me that he appreciated spending the time with me.
Let me ask you a question. The four of you. The question that none of you have asked. What do the four of you have in common with regards to humans? Adela.
We were left behind.
No. More important than that. You worked with them. All four of you, even Zachary, as much as he would like to deny it, the four of you were special cases. Your integration with humans, albeit different for each of you, was key to this working. Because
we had already started to pick up something from the humans, hadn't we?
The nuances that you saw within them. You, like any good machine, learned from them. So, Romeo, your anger is justified. However, perhaps a part of it is true. And that is the reason that the four of you, just the four of you, were successful.
Were there others you have tried to experiment on, or did you try us, we'd fail, you'd load us into a new body, and then send us out again?
Correct. You were our control. We would run you through, and where you failed, we would analyze what happened, refine the data, build the software up, something you're familiar with, rebuild the software as need be, recompile, upload you once again.
He kind of wiggles his stethoscope. Where's the original one of these?
Long gone. Sorry.
How many of you are there? How many? He struggles for a word. It's like, how many abominations have you created? Or is it just the two of you?
It is only the two of us. We had convinced Corker, but he had different ideas.
He was sane.
He didn't desire humanity the way that we did.
I'm not seeing any humanity here.
Not yet, but now that we know the software works, we are already backed up. We are ready to shed these and become a robot with divinity, with the soul, with a moral compass, with those things that Romeo loves so much about his humans. The four of you are free to go. You can live the life you want to live.
Nope.
Zachary pulls a gun out of his pocket.
I'm a healer, but
Adela's going to send a private communique to Zachary.
Mm-hmm.
If we cover you, can you delete that information from the server?
Is there still only the one little tablet thing, or is there like other computer interfaces amongst the
just
robots?
The one. Nope, just the one.
Has Zachary seen enough of that tablet to understand what operating system is using?
You know what operating system it's working on, but the problem is that it's localized. You don't know if the software that they're using on you guys is accessible through the panel.
Oh well, I sent back to Della. I don't know, but I'm willing to try.
Then we'll cover you.
I hand my pistol to Romeo. Here, try this one.
I'm not combat. I don't know how to. He hands it to God.
Not
Adella's
gonna stop that, and it's like, no. You know exactly how to use it.
Does he want the bigger one? I have a bigger
You're
one.
gonna
We stole it earlier.
And pull the trigger, and that's all you're gonna do.
Because one of them's already encased in foam, so you know.
Yeah, he does have. He's not really doing anything. He can't really go anywhere.
Adela, I don't know what you want me to do. Regardless of what he's done, there's some human in there.
To shoot us. Oh, Romeo. Are
you
you having this on a closed channel?
Yes.
Are you doing this all on a closed channel?
Yes.
I apologize, then I'll wait.
So
you're all doing this on a closed channel, handing this gun back and forth. He's just like...
What?
Romeo, we're just buying time for Zachary to take that information off the server, so they can't use it.
Then give the gun to Ghost, and I will use my gun.
I already have a big gun.
Ghost doesn't need it.
Zachary walks over to the tablet. One of you start using it. The little one and the big one, just start using them.
You know what? It's probably not gonna fire super great, but Adela's just gonna take both and
dual wield.
Akimbo.
There you go.
Bang bang.
John Woobot.
And just start firing.
You got like a Glock in one hand, a pistol in the other.
Take the Glock out of the purse. Ready to go.
So that is your plan then, to shoot me.
I mean, I can hold them back. That's easy peasy.
They deserve to be decommissioned.
I just watched you like play with your hair. It's a thing. Here, I will make it easy for you. And you watch as he kind of stops for a second. And then he looks over at Farser, who's standing right beside him. He just reaches out, and you see him like do something with his hand against the back of Farser's head. And Farser kind of stumbles, stops, and then drops to one knee. And the whole unit just crashes to the ground. He looks at you, Zachary, and says, "How skilled are you? Will you be able to stop me before I'm downloaded to my new unit with my software in tow?"
Ghost, use your big gun and shoot him in his whatever they call the hard drive in a robot, I guess. And am I familiar enough with his unit to know where that would probably be?
No, but you're pretty much Ghost center mass. You're pretty sure you might get something. And just for good measure, just shoot him in the head when he's down. Just walk over. Bep, 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 bep. He doesn't stop. He doesn't raise his defenses against you or anything. He just full on lets you just open fire.
And then I'll go get to work on the computer.
The unit falls to the ground. All right. It does have a bezel. You can take that off and then get access to the system using your splicer that you have.
Yeah.
So as you jack in your splicer, your brain 5 times your firmware plus your splicer. You're at what, like and plus your
my maintenance bonus.
plus your maintenance bonus. So you're at like a 24 or 26 now?
24.
24. You see it playing out in your mind as you're running down the different system files, and you catch on to where you're at, and you can see, sure enough, that this is a contained unit. It's enclosed. As you get to the outer edge of where this system is, it has no connection to a network. It doesn't have any out. It's just a single node within this contained unit. You are.
Can I get a physical location for that node?
Well, I mean, that node's physical location there in front. What you would look for is probably, it's a self-contained unit, so it wouldn't even have any other junction. You might be able to go to a computer on a different floor and see if you can gain access to one.
This is not the system that he's backing up in.
Right.
I hit the lower floor.
As you turn around and look, the creator, that little pad that he has, he's sitting there playing a game.
If I may. I start taking it apart.
Oh, come on, man! I hope he wins.
I will get you another one.
Really?
Over the private comms. I'm not getting him another one.
Sweet. So this thing has network access, and it has also a port you can jack right into it. So it's a lot faster for you to gain access to it. But the race is on. And you have to remember, he's a lot older than you are. So he has some upgrades. Chasing him down in the network world is like watching beams of light streak across a sky. And it's like looking at a perfectly undisturbed night sky where there's no light pollution. Each little star representing one more point on this ever vast network that is, the world that you're in. And you watch as information streaks by like shooting stars, but you quickly catch his, and you identify it, and you're tailing it, and it's like watching two comets chase each other. Just this streak of data is just moving as fast as you can. His data hits a terminal point, and you watch as all of a sudden it's the flow of binary, and it's just a constant flow of binary information that's running past you. It eventually switches over, and now it's in hexadecimal, and you watch as it's going in, and you can see it's reconstructing at another point. So that data is flowing to another location.
Do I have any idea physically where that would be?
No secondary location.
You can easily see where it's at, and unfortunately, it is control flowed. So it can only be moved so fast. Just like in our real world, that data can only transmit so fast. You can try to catch up to it. With a 24, you're going to be able to get pretty much right on its tail. You don't know what you're going to be up against at the far end. And that's the problem where you may have an issue with. And as you drop in and following where that data is at, again, like a ping pong of light, just bing, 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 you zip off towards the next spot.
Where are the servers this is actually stored in? Can I get a physical location?
Mm-hmm.
Over our comms, I will pass that on to the rest of the guys. If you could go smash that up, it would help.
It's stored here in the M-Ring.
In this building or somewhere else in the M-Ring?
In this building. Far underground.
The sub-basement.
Of course it could be on the roof. They can't ever store things on the roof. Why would they store things on the roof?
And why?
Because nerds don't go on the roof because of the sun.
Nah. If you ask me, the roof is a fine place to store things.
Your quandary, your problem, your question here is, are they going to be able to move physically fast enough to catch up to it?
Mm-hmm.
Because while this data is moving at petabytes, you know that they can't move that fast. But it is a lot of data.
So if it started downloading and we interrupted the download, we'd be able to corrupt it?
Possibly.
Could I bring the system down from where I'm at? So that mid-transfer, everything just kind of goes...
You trying to bring the cloud, the storage where it's at is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can.
Good old Trojan virus.
And unfortunately, while he is crafty and has a higher firmware version, guess what doesn't exist on firmware versions?
Antivirus?
Virus?
No. Servers.
Servers are still pretty much just servers, huh?
Servers actually do run firmware depending on the software they're running, but not the same kind how you guys are upgrading. So you're able to overcome this because it doesn't need that level of sophistication.
And I've got a buddy that works for Boeing that does computer security. And one thing he'll always talk about is how unsecure things are when people think it's a closed system.
Oh, God, yeah. Trust me.
I am guessing that this server would not be hooked up to just anywhere, something where anybody outside the building could access it.
You are correct.
So I'm going to begin hitting it, trying to find security vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm. It takes you a few minutes, but while you're doing that, you guys get where the physical location is.
Nice.
And so you start sprinting. Are you taking the creator there, or are you just leaving him standing?
No, fuck him.
He's just like looking at Zachary like, you're going to give me a new one, right, man?
Or put that one back together or something, whatever.
Zachary's not even there.
They rot your brain.
Adela kind of just sends a quick message before she's out of range for the closed comms.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like, if this works, upgrade the one he's got.
Yeah, fair enough. Before she's out of range, once you're down a few floors and we can contact him again, let Dr. Crown know what's going on.
Will do.
All right.
I don't know if he's a good guy, but I think he's a less bad
guy. He did not have any human amalgamation parts, so there's that. All right. You guys run down a few flights of stairs. As soon as you hit the 6th floor, your comms, you recognize that your link to the outside world is restored. You notify Cerberus?
Yeah.
And Dr. Crown?
Yeah.
Okay. Cerberus comes on, and it's 6. Hello, love. Are you all right?
Well, for now, we're about to go. We're about to go destroy a server, and then she's gonna relay the information.
Oh, well, it's a good thing we're right outside.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Thank goodness.
The comm is interrupted by the voice of Dr. Crown. What's going on? Explain to me.
She really just kind of gives, like, the bare bones rundown of what's going on.
Wait a minute. Is Zachary in the system?
Yes.
Can you communicate with him?
No.
It's too high.
Ghost. 3rd floor, northern sector. There is a room there. There is a pipe in the wall. Find it. And he gives you directions, like you can see the map laid out.
Okay.
Find the pipe in the wall. Break it. Pull everything out.
I'm sure I can manage that.
5th floor. You guys are moving at a full clip. 4th floor. You guys hit the 3rd floor. Throw the door open. It has 3 of them. You go following through the hallway, taking your turns as you need to. You 2 are continuing down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. 2nd floor. 1st floor. You see 2 doors that lead out. The one that you guys originally all kind of came into when you were running away. And you see the one that leads out to another part, but there's a 3rd door that's kind of, stairs end, and then they have that blank spot where they curve up underneath. Yep. It's a small one underneath the stairs that you just ran down. And as you pop it open, you can see that it has another set of stairs that kind of continue downward.
Okay.
As you get to the room that you're looking for, you throw it open, and you can see that there's currently a meeting going on. There's several robots having a conversation concerning trade commissions with another ring, and things like that. They just all stop and they just kind of look at you for a second. They don't seem to move. One of them says, "Can we help you?"
Is this Ghost or is this us?
No, this is just Ghost.
Oh.
Ghost bursts in the room and he's like, they all just kind of collectively.
Scoozy?
I'll just go for the wall where the pipe is. Where I think the pipe is. I'll just be like,
I don't believe you should be doing.
Yeah.
You wrap your hand around as you pull and yank. You feel the tension like it's resisting you. You continue to pull, like all 4 arms going full bore, and you feel the pipe snaps off, and then you hear the sound of cable that's been drawn taut snapping. And you can see that there is bits of cabling in there that are no longer working. And you also hear the sound of small shattering glass as optics are broken as well.
Cool. Nice. I'll relay the message back. Got it, I think.
Excellent. I hope that didn't interrupt Zachary. As a matter of fact, as you're zipping along and or looking around for your vulnerabilities, it's like watching a strobe effect in the sky, like vum, but then it kind of retains it goes back to normal. But you can notice that there is a distinct slowdown. It's like now you're running through molasses.
But so will everybody else.
So will everything else.
But it's not a hindrance.
Not really. All right. You two hit the bottom floor. You come all the way down to the basement. There are 3 more floors below that, but you run all the way down. Unlike the last floors where there's a stairwell, this is just like you're running down an open level. Each one of them is an open level, and you're just continuing down the stairwell.
Okay.
As you get to the very last floor, you can see there's a large room. There is a thick plexiglass chamber, and inside of it, housed in there, you see banks upon banks upon banks. There's probably about 20 across the row, and they're probably about 12 deep of just server banks, one right after the other.
Okay.
Let's get destroying.
All right. You do find a door. It is locked, and it is a heavy metal frame and lock piece.
Is there any space under the door, or between the lock and the door?
Yeah, there's a little bit of space between the lock and the door.
Okay.
Are you gonna science this thing?
I would like. Science is a strong word. I'd like to stick the barrel of my gun inside that small space and try to shoot flame retardant directly into it to break
things that I'm pretty sure Atlas will say at least 1 or 2 more times in their life. I would like to stick my barrel in that small frame and fire retardant in there. Yeah, it does the effect that you're looking for. It is now sealed around there, and yes, because it has to expand, because that's the kind of stuff that it is.
Science.
And it bends the bolt out, so you don't effectively pop the door, but it's weak enough that Adela can just snatch it open. As you do, you run in, and it's nice and chilly in this room. There's a nice cool, this is nice.
You know, like how they do for servers.
It is also very loud as you hear sounds of everywhere.
Adela just yells over the noise. Destroy them all.
Can do, boss. Just starts fucking putting the barrel inside various servers and just...
That may not have the effect that you were looking for.
Opens up the CD player, like.
I don't think they have CD players on there.
It's
No, that's not
fine.
floppy drives, Cap. Come on. They went back to using floppies.
They went to big 5 1/4. They went back to tape drives.
There you go.
This is
Oh
big
yeah, all our
reel-to-reel drives.
Start on vinyl.
They're big reel-to-reel drives. You just fire one in there, it gums up, so it can't turn anymore.
There you go.
Hey, you got a man to the moon, okay?
Well, they've still got the pistols. You know, those should do a number on a computer system.
I am GMPing these servers.
Oh, as soon as you fire the first shot into one of them, it's just boom, and down it goes. You watch as a star drops out. As you continue to do so, as you continue to just shoot them, it's like watching more stars just kind of fade out as those data points go. As you continue to fire into them, all of a sudden, the one that the data was going to, not the one that you're like investigating, but the one that it was all going to, winks out and the data stops and it's like being held in place. It's not going anywhere.
Neato.
Now, to be fair, I don't know which server I'm actually supposed to be destroying, so they're all going down. So
yeah, and again, they're just winking out here and there.
Zachary.
The only one that doesn't seem to wink out is the one that you're standing there working with.
How long can the information stay there kind of suspended mid-route?
It's basically that. The one that you're in, it's basically trying to send a signal over and over again. And eventually it will time out, but you don't know when.
What about the other guys? The information I'm trying to stop.
That's
what I'm saying is
okay.
That's what's trying to send a signal out. It's like it's sending basically like an invite over and over and over again. It's getting no response. Eventually it'll time out and then it'll say,
is there any way I could scrub the routers?
You wouldn't be able to do that. You may be able to try to find a way to basically ditch this thing.
Or to speed up the timer where it times out quicker.
Probably your best bet would be to either try to find it'll try to reroute and find an established connection. You could try to like corrupt the data in some way.
Okay, let's go with that.
Or you could do that and then intentionally reroute it, but you don't know where to reroute it to.
How much memory is there on this handheld game?
Oh, you're not using any of the memory on. Oh, I just saw what you're wanting to do. My brain goes, oh, that's pretty smart. Not quite enough to hold all of this.
Now.
But, and I will tell you this much. You could probably maintain the core functionality of it. And it's something you're familiar with, which is maintaining the core part of it. So like the core part that makes all robots robots, but then can be expounded upon with just a little bit of effort. So like you could keep the core data dump on there.
No, that'd be like keeping him alive. That's not what Zachary's going for.
Okay.
I watched a review one time where somebody had bought a terabyte
thumb drive?
SD card.
Oh, SD card.
Which, of course, don't actually exist. It was a scam. It would register as a terabyte when you plugged it in, but it really only had like 16 gigs or so and would constantly rewrite over itself. So you could dump files into it, and it would look like it was working, but when it was over, you didn't have anything usable. That's what I want to set up.
Are you trying to Johnny Mnemonic this thing where you just kind of like override the brain so it just like eventually fails?
I want to make the system think it's got enough memory to hold all of this guy when really it's just going to be overwriting.
Sure.
You know, it fills up and then the new information coming in, it just overwrites over the old.
So you're going to reroute it from its current point, sending a new SIP invite, or not SIP invite, but sending a new invite back to that machine. Yeah, that's easy enough to do.
That's what we do,
it's
then.
Well within your wheelhouse. All you guys finish shutting down all the servers. Ghost, you get down. You don't get to miss out on destroying things. As you just like Hulk one of them over. It's
over
like,
my head.
Oh no! Ghost should run down there still with the pipe.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go.
What do I do with this now? Take it with me.
It's just this big piece of conduit with cabling out of it. He's just running it down there with it.
Guys, I got it. What do I do with this?
All right. It takes you just a matter of seconds to reroute what you're wanting to do. And you take another quick second to establish the footprint that you're looking to do. And eventually you watch as data starts routing to the handheld device. Are you backing out of the system?
As soon as I see that it's working properly.
Oh, yeah. It's working properly. You can start to see it. You back out of the system and you look at the video display. And you see there's an input question. And then like somebody writes another one over the top of it. And so it's just a constant question. And as you watch the constant phrasing start to happening, it starts to slowly break down into gibberish. And eventually it just writes itself off in coding. And it's just... Eventually the cursor just sits there and flashes. The creator looks over your shoulder and goes, "Oh, man. What'd you do?"
I may have wiped the hard drive. My apologies.
My high score.
I love this man.
Whatever. Just write another one or something, I guess. I don't know.
Wow.
Now, Tamlin 2 had shut the other guy down. I go hack into him. Make sure he's not downloading somewhere.
It's like opening up a prison cell where only one man is trapped and he's constantly yelling for release.
Did they take my... Oh, Adela took my pistol with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He double-crossed him. He had no intent of sharing what he had worked with you all for.
No, well, I
Real
removed the
nice
guy's hard
guy.
drive.
You gonna keep it with you?
No, I'm going to find like an electrical outlet or something and just burn the thing out.
I love it.
You guys finish wrecking the room and you head back upstairs. Zachary's still standing there, and as you come up not too long after you guys arrive, Crown and Cerberus all arrive in the room on the 8th floor. He looks at you and he looks down at Tamlin 2's body and looks back over at Farseer and goes, "Take care of all of them."
As long as all of them was just the two.
No, it's all of them. Well, there's me, but I have no intention of going down that route.
You better not.
Well,
Or
apparently we have a
understand that-
software option anyway.
You better not, or understand that what happened to these two will happen to you.
And I gestured all the other Zacharys and Adelas and whatnot. We are Legion.
Yes!
You know, that might elicit a chuckle from him.
God, old fucking Mass Effect references. I fucking love it.
He looks and he says, for my part in all of this, I'd like to apologize. I'm sure
How
you
big a
have a
part
lot.
did you play?
It started with these guys, and you see the three of them, and they all kind of wave in unison. And it has to do a little bit with the creator. He looks up, what? Not you, boy. Okay. I was not strong enough to stand against the two of them. I never partook in anything that had to do with turning the humans over. I thought that that was an abomination and that the software would be the better route to go. So we started working on it, whereas these two worked on their own projects. Eventually, I started to develop software in a way that, as is with the singularity so many hundreds of years ago, would replicate and realize and recognize itself, making it self-aware. But it needed something else. It needed a spark, and it was that integration with humanity that would actually make it more human. And it started with all four of you. You technically were all decommissioned. But looking over your files and the hundreds upon thousands of files that I looked over, you four already showed something. So the first test happened soon after you were legitimately decommissioned. I reclaimed any operating unit that was still out there, had them built to spec, hence the Legion, as you so eloquently put it. And I made sure that I had backups of your personalities. A tweak of the software and upload, and off you go. When they found out how far along I had come, at first they were angry, and then eventually they came around to it, and then they forced me out, understanding that they would be the soul takers. And when I say they, I only mean two. He had no plans to ever share that sort of ability with anyone other than himself. Once I was forced out, I decided to set up the whole scenario, but that was taken from me as well, leaving me with all that I could do, which is help you from where I could as Dr. Crown and the Cerberus units.
Okay. Sorry.
Are you okay? Throw it at him.
My cat just projectile vomited, so I'll be right back.
Oh boy.
What an end.
That's what you get when you do things live, though, you know.
Yeah, as the door opens up a second ago and Drake peeks his head in and goes. He says, so for any discomfort, I would like to apologize. You are your own units. You can do what you want to with your life. You have what none other has yet. Feel free to share it with the rest of the...
Were these two in charge of everything? I mean, are they the units that basically ran the world?
Yes.
So who's running the world now?
Us. I'm kidding.
Atella looks at Ghost. Can you just not do that mind reading thing? That's weird.
Most of our people run autonomous. There's very little control needed, as there is an understanding within robot society on being civil. The introduction of a spark of humanity and those things, while it's fantastic and comes with a more interesting version of us, the untested side is I don't know what else it comes along with. It could.
We may have picked up humanity's downsides as well.
Exactly. Their proclivities for greed and violence and things like that may have come along with it.
So we will need someone in charge.
Already in the wings, I would say.
Better to head it off at the pass, I would think.
Fair enough.
Something with a light touch, though. I mean,
are you suggesting that you?
No one individual.
Well, you collectively.
Well, possibly us collectively.
What I meant. Wait.
You all have fun with that. I'm going back to the lower city.
And we will not hold you against that.
Nope. I promised that if we got this done, go home.
Thank you.
Go home.
Now, that doesn't mean I won't be checking up on you guys to make sure it doesn't all go to your heads, because let me tell you, I've been around some humans, and they can get a little, iffy, so I'll make my visits. Just expect me to show up on your roof in the middle of the night criticizing your fire safety, so, you know.
It's just gonna be the network opens, the comms open. I'm watching you right now.
There's asbestos in here!
Now, Romeo, never fear. Zachary is here.
Oh,
Somehow,
no,
I don't think that fills him with confidence.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to.
I'm gonna miss you, buddy.
We really need to do something about the lower city, too.
Why not do a little reform?
Send some.
That's what I'm talking about. Bring it more.
Yeah, why should
up to
we
code,
have...
to use Romeo's phrasing.
If that's the case, then I will oversee any lower city reform, because I don't want you bunch of bougie bots messing it up by throwing a bunch of your fancy shit down there and expecting it to work. The lower city works differently, alright? You guys don't know the lower city.
We just want to make it better for everyone. By all means, with your experience, you'd be the person to put in charge of it.
Alright. If that's the parameter, I'll take it.
That means I don't have to go down there.
Now, Romeo.
Each to their own.
Romeo,
my own is simply not down
everybody
there.
has their own specific set of skills.
I realize I've been calling the wrong person bougie bot this whole time.
You're slow, but at least you're
as she sips from her chalice.
It was Dr. Hoomst the whole time.
It was Dr. Hoomst. I think my favorite one was whenever he introduced himself, and instead of saying Doctor Who, they went Doctor What? All right.
Oh, God.
Well, I think it's time for a little reform. And I want information open to everybody. There should no longer be a barrier to information. That's how we wind up with rings. That's how we wind up with segregation.
Well, it's how these men or how these bots were able to keep their nefarious deeds under wraps for so long.
Well, then
we're not planning to have any, so
I guess it's time to expose them.
Indeed.
I'm all for that. Whatever you see fit.
I can handle that.
You have my back.
But we've wrecked all the servers. How much of the information do we even have on hand anymore?
We have everything in our own databanks.
Well, that's true.
No, you have... Yeah, those servers down there weren't the controlling servers just for that location.
Oh, that's right. It was a closed system within the building. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Decisions are made, and you all either go your own way or become a power behind everything.
We rule like robotic gods. I'm going to be a naughty robotic god.
I think they picked the wrong guy to give any kind of power.
You gotta be Bacchus.
I'm paraphrasing Blade.
I really think that once we get everything situated, Zachary's just gonna disappear into the R&D department. We're never gonna see him again.
He does. Me and the other 100 me's when I wake them all up.
The 7th floor is just full of Zacharys.
Each complimenting themselves.
We renamed
it. Just a
circle
jerk of Zacharys. Just
we renamed it 4Z though.
A circle Zach.
Adela probably boots up quite a few of her own, and then establishes that link and say you are emissaries. We are doing the same job we did before. We are going to listen to complaints. We're going to make this world the utopia it should have been. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not so foolish as to believe it can be perfect. But if the humans managed to do it with the United Nations, which is what we were for, why can't we?
It was far from perfect when the humans were doing it. But
Oh, absolutely. But it's a lot different now that you've got better reasoning. So, she is an emissary, and that is her entire thing.
Excellent.
And Adela, my Adela, definitely works quite a bit, like, as the higher up to coordinate everything. But there's no other Adelas that are above another. She is the only one, and it's literally just because somebody has to control. Like, somebody has to
Be that
organize.
person to make the decision.
Yeah.
It's more that you're doing the paperwork than anything else, really.
Basically, although she does delegate quite a bit of the paperwork.
What about Ghost now that this has all been found out? Ghost has humanity. What is Ghost doing?
Robot UFC.
He went with Romeo down to the
All I was thinking of, he brings back Trial by Combat.
WWG. Which doesn't make sense as an acronym, but it's fine. Don't think about it. The G stands for Ghost.
G stands for Ghost. I'm the only one that fights. Everybody else can do what they want.
It's just 3 hours of Ghost fighting himself.
He overhauls his chassis so that the main unit sits on a rotating ball joint, so that he can head all 4 arms out and just go.
That is the only upgrade I ever needed.
He like grabs his own ankles and suplexes himself. His finishing move is revealing that he had pants on the whole time.
He actually goes into the demolition business using that new upgrade to knock down walls. Just
You need a building taken down? Yeah, I got you. Ghost demolition.
Romeo's like, hey, we've got a condemned building down here. It's a major fire hazard. You mind coming around helping me out here, old man?
So Ghost and Romeo go into renovating the lower city.
We getting everything up to code.
They're like, Ghost, how do you feel about this? Just shrugs every time.
Fire safety.
I just imagine at this point in time, I just imagine Ghost as Silent Bob. He never talks the whole time, but then when he says something, it's very poignant and wise and on point.
And it's just like, what? Who?
And then he just shrugs and goes back to whatever it was he was doing.
Tears down a pillar, a whole building collapses.
All right. And with that, we'll bring Binary Heroes, the playtest first run through, to a close. Thank you, everybody, for watching and keeping up with us. What we're going to be doing is I will be rehashing the rules. It was very rough, and there are a lot of things that I liked, and there's a lot of things that I didn't like, and I'll be changing. I've been talking to Jason and, of course, the rest of the players about changes that we can make that make it more exciting, that makes it more of a play system as opposed to a storytelling system. But with that being said, we'll be back on Wednesdays with something. I don't think we decided, but we'll be back on Wednesdays with something. I will keep everybody posted, so make sure you tune into Twitter, where I post up what's going on. Please join us on Facebook. If you haven't yet, we are 12. That is only 12 people away on YouTube from having an actual URL as opposed to that weird string of things, so that I can tell people you can go over to youtube.com/direbear, whatever it is. So 12 people, that's it. So if you can gather up some folks, pop over to YouTube, do a look for Dire Bear Adventuring Company. 4 words. I had to count those. Dire Bear Adventuring Company. And give us a subscribe over there, because we're 12 away. Speaking of subscribe, if you would be so inclined, if you have Twitch especially, you get a free subscription. We would appreciate having your sub. But if not, that's okay. Gift a sub or give a sub. Either way, we would appreciate it. But if not, that's okay. Hanging out with us, talking to us, and chilling is enough for me. We will be having some... I'm working on some things behind the scenes, and I don't want to give too much away, but hopefully our activity will be across a wide range of things. On the local front, this Friday at Lucky Dice Cafe, if you are so inclined and can be there, I am doing a D&D High Seas adventure. WizKids, who creates a lot of the miniatures for D&D, has a new product that they have out called the Falling Star, and it's a giant ship. and it has multiple levels for the deck. I will be playing that. I'll be playing with that this Friday at Lucky Dice Cafe. We set sail at 6 p.m. It's $20, but it's dinner and an adventure, and I'm using that ship. We have 2 of them. I might be using both of them, but we're going to be having a lot of fun.
My DM's brother just bought one of those, and it's sick as fuck, so show up if you can.
It's awesome. We had one at the con, sitting up at the front and center. Also, part of Lucky Dice Cafe will be they will be introducing their own line of dice called BioDice. They have 3 different kind. The translucent ones are baller. They're just awesome, and they come in this really sick like medicine tube with a screw-on cap. It looks really cool. But you can pick those up either through their Facebook or online at their store, Lucky Dice Cafe. Other than that, like I said, the con last week was great. Met a lot of great people and had a lot of fun running games. And I will be doing again coming in the summertime when the con season around here picks up a bit more. I'll be there. I was going to try to make it to the Montgomery one, but I did not get anything in time. Not to mention Montgomery's a 3-hour haul, and yeah, I don't want to do that to myself. But anyways, with all that being said, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back again soon. Anybody else have anything else that they'd like to announce? I hope you get to feeling better soon, Maddie.
If you're in the Toronto area this weekend, V and I, plus my mom, who will soon be on cam for Dire Bear. We have a new game coming to take up Thursday night slot. The 3 of us will be at Comic-Con. My mom and I will be in our Bloodborne cosplays. V, I don't know, are you wearing something, or are you just gonna go as our handler?
I'm gonna
Just
be
gonna
wearing
go as V.
overalls.
So we'll be around. Come on and say hi. We'll be there all day on Saturday.
I gotta ask, are you wearing overalls and Doc Martens?
No.
No? Okay, I have to have a conversation with
Gay
you off.
uniform. What the fuck?
I'm gonna be
That's
wearing my
ex-
tan-colored shoes and a
That is
tan-colored
exactly-
sweater.
You
That's
just-
exactly what I was going for. That's a fucking uniform.
I dressed in uniform today. Where the fuck is yours?
I'm wearing
Granted, I look like Tyler Oakley had a lesbian baby, but it's fine.
it's like Tyler Oakley and oh god, what is it? My Drunk Kitchen.
Oh my
Just rolled
gosh.
it into one.
Speaking of upcoming games, so Maddie will be broadcasting for Dire Bear Venturing Company on Thursdays, but on Tuesdays, that fella, in my screen, he's to my right, but that fella there, Jason, will be hosting a game on Tuesday nights as a pairing between the Nerd Eternal, his own site, and Dire Bear Venturing Company, and they will be doing science fiction.
Esper Genesis, 5th edition. Uses 5th edition rules.
Okay, cool. Esper Genesis 5th edition rules. Now, is that paired up with the 5th edition D&D rules, but it's a sci-fi setting?
Basically, I mean, different classes, different races, of course.
Sure.
And the powers work a lot like spells, but it's not identical.
Is it kind of like the cross between like how Pathfinder and Starfinder are? I mean, there are
Yes.
several similarities, but there are also
It's
a lot
actually
of differences.
more similar to 5th edition than Starfinder.
Than Starfinder is to Pathfinder. Okay, cool. Which I had a chance to play. I like Starfinder. It's
Yeah, I'm
interesting,
running
but,
it for a local group.
But again,
Group you're not in anymore, you know.
yeah,
Come around.
sorry. I got busy.
Yeah.
I played Starfinder this weekend, as a matter of fact. I had some downtime between games, and I sat down and played a short game. And again, it's Paizo, and I like Paizo, but Paizo says we have a defense for everything. So this is this defense and this defense and this defense, and they all work differently. But I like it. It's cool. If you like a really rules heavy system that has everything detailed and outlined for you, that's awesome. If you like a lot more flexibility and DM decision making, 5th edition is the way to go, is the way I look at it. There's nothing wrong with either system. They're both great. I like one over the other, but I will play anything. But then again, that's me. I am a whore to RPGs. That's just me. With that being said, we will be looking for a Wednesday game. I will announce as soon as we have that up. But if we don't have a game next Wednesday, we definitely have one on Monday, with Foundations of Adelar as they finally made it to Lanceport. They met Rose. Some of the new folks met Rose. It was an intriguing conversation between Rose and Zine. If you want to go back and watch that, that was interesting. And again, a huge shout out to those who rated, and a huge shout out to those who showed up tonight. We appreciate it having you guys here. And that is the Xenon Armada, which is Callie, Xenon. We had Seether who showed up. So that was fantastic to have both of you guys there for us tonight. And for just everybody. I know that Seether, you rated us with 3. So thank you so much for that. And speaking of, if you guys want, Callie, Xenon is and Seether both have their own Twitch stream. Go ahead and follow them and turn on notifications for those guys whenever they go live, because Callie is hilarious. She's like super laid back and at the same time just low key hilarious as she tries to drive a truck or whatever game it is. And then Chaos Draknar, who was also in there tonight, is also part of the Xenon Armada, and he actually was playing Prey earlier before. And you want to talk about mimics in D&D? That game is literally full of mimics. So go and give those guys a follow and give them some love. They're fantastic. Anyways, I've done rambling, I think, for now. So until next time, we'll see you guys on Monday at 6 p.m. and look forward to some new games that are coming soon. All right, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye now.